Good evening, viewers and listeners. We are live and welcome to the Seven Cities Shoptalk Sports Show, broadcasting to you from the beautiful state of Virginia to everyone all over the world. I'm your host, Big Law Lawrence Johnson, and I can tell you it is a beautiful place right now in Charlottesville, in Whoville, or whoever is involved with the University of Virginia when it comes to the sports scene. But there is a lot of information that is going on right now, going around that we're going to just have to go over. But before we get started, we want to thank you for joining us in another episode of our brand of dysfunctional camaraderie. And as of now, this shop is open. And as I said before, I'm your host, Big Law Lawrence Johnson. And this is what I can say. I like what the University of Virginia's staff is doing. And I also like what the students that are coming in, what they are saying, and it seems like they are definitely looking to fit in and not necessarily be like a prima donna and take over. But before I get too deep into it, let me introduce you to my co-host. I got Miss Amy Hit up top. How you doing, Amy?
I'm good. How are you? Ready for some basketball. Ready for spring. Ready for baseball season.
Right around the corner. Absolutely right. And of course, we have Miss AB in the house as well. How you doing, AB?
I'm good. Just, adjusting to having this on a different day, but I'm glad we're doing it. A lot of things are happening, so we have a lot to talk about tonight. So I have my dinner. I'm about to, have my dinner with y'all tonight and chat it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we kind of figuring out exactly what the team is doing right now, based off of what they did this time last year, and what they're doing, it seems like they're doing the same thing. But dare I say, could they be doing an even better job? Last year, and maybe it seems like they're doing, to me, like a little bit of even a better job. But that's because of, the recent success, I believe. And also the fact that, these players are kind of finding out what these coaches are saying, and some of these players that have moved on and some of these players that are coming into the organization or coming into the team are everything's kind of positive. I don't really have any negative folks leaving. What's going on, Chris? Thank you for tuning in. All my folks in the chat, make sure you guys send in some information or even join us, and you may get a link to join the show as well. My man Chris Hedberg, he says, "Hey, Big Law and AB, let's get the tea on the new kids." Absolutely. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the new kids on the block, I guess is what we're gonna call them, because there are a lot of new kids on the team, and of course, Amy, being a Hokie, I know she has some information to give those Hokie watchers as well. So we'll be fair and give her some time too. But I guess let me go ahead and just jump in with you, AB, because, today we're going to talk about kind of an open discussion about the transfer portal, but also talk about the basketball teams and what they're doing. And they're doing a really good job of making themselves actually a really imposing team. From every time I see them go up and down the court, they're doing some really cool things. But let me come to you and let's talk about some of these players, man. I see we've had, it looks like we have 20 kids out, 20 kids in so far. And I guess the question is, are the 20 kids that left better than 20 kids that have come in? And I don't think it looks bad for us. I think the kids that are coming in may be better than what the kids that we have lost. Let me go ahead and let you weigh in on that. What do you think?
Well, I mean, of course, I was hoping that we would get Chandler Morris for another year. But, you and I had even said it, when we were playing the bowl game, hey, the NCAA needs to get it together, because I feel like we're missing the opportunity on, getting a head start on some of these quarterbacks that are available. However, I think it worked out in our favor. I think that we got 2 really great pickups that will benefit our team, but and honestly, I think the team that's coming in is better than what is leaving. Like you and I discussed, Trill Harris, I wish him the best, but you know, he did come from a smaller school and he's making himself marketable. Yeah, we hate to see him leave, but we love that for their career. So, can't be mad at him. I think he's probably the biggest loss that we have. Still hoping that Cam Courtney returns.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's kind of still out there and would love to see Wood still return. But outside of that, I think we have some really great talent coming in. But just like I said last year, I think it's going to come down to seeing these guys, because it doesn't matter what they did, where they were, right? Like we saw that. It doesn't matter where they came from. It's how they benefit the schemes at UVA. So it's going to be really interesting to see it all come together and see how they produce this year.
I agree. I totally agree. I feel like, what they did last year, they didn't go for the most, I guess, talented or the most highly rated kid, in the portal. They just went for kids that they felt would fit their system, and maybe kids that they could coach. That's another thing. You got to find young men that are willing to bend and be pliable. And that was something that we saw a lot this year. Eli Wood, for instance, did not, played all over the field, played all kinds of positions. We had 4 running backs come in. All 4 of them at one time or another were injured. They had to focus on being, one of the, guys who got some, most of the carries at different times during the season. Even, the linemen, you had Brady go down the center, and you had to have Metcalf slide over, excuse me. And when I saw him taking his wrap off, I was like, oh, wow, Brady's out, and then we didn't know how long he'd be out, but we have to have flexibility and depth. I think that was probably one of the main reasons we can chalk that up to 3 wins right there, in my opinion, because we did have the depth on the offensive line, because 3 or 4 guys that possibly would have started didn't even really get themselves together towards the end of the year. And then the one top guy, tackle Monroe Mills, didn't even play all year. So with him coming back, that's why I say we're looking at a team that could possibly be better this year than we had last year. Amy, let me come to you. I know you got some things on your mind. I know you've been tracking your guy, Mr. Franklin. So what you got going on, Amy?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think he's got a couple quarterbacks coming in. He's got 4 or 5 wide receivers coming in. There's not a person he's got coming that's not a 3-star or over recruit. One of the kids that went to y'all, he came to the Hokies from New Mexico State. Y'all got him. He's a safety. I don't think he played very much at all, if he played. I was trying to look up his stats before we came back on, but I couldn't find anything on him, only that he just kept going in and out to transfer portal every 5 minutes, it looked like. Like I was asking you, what happens to these kids that go into this portal and then they don't get picked up? Are they done with their team? I mean,
not necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily. They're not necessarily done with their team. The team may be done with them. You know what I mean? Because they have to fill roster spots.
You've made the choice to jump ship, and now ain't nobody picking you up out to ocean.
Right.
And
right. So now
we're
going to have to move on and fill your roster spot.
Right.
That's the risk you take. If you jump, as you say, you jump ship, you have to be careful that you have to really feel confident that you have a landing spot.
Right.
Because there was 3,500 plus kids in the portal this year.
But I think
maybe
also there's a
35,
second to it.
40, huh?
I think there's a second part to it. Like, I think that the coaches know now that this is the scheme. Like, the coaches have just as much, especially if it's a talented kid, they have respect for the guy that's going out there to try to see what offers, because a UVA, let's just use UVA for example, can't compete to money like Texas, like an opportunity like Texas. So I think coaches have an understanding and know that there's a chance that they could come back, but they already know when they're entering that transfer portal if they're going to, have better offers. So I think there is the known that when they go, but there are the ones like, I mean, we're talking about Wood, who he's not even on scholarship. There's a chance that like there's nothing that's going to change at UVA, but he's looking to see if there is an opportunity out there for him for a scholarship, for NIL, whatever the case.
Right. And for
So
me,
he's in the transfer portal. Wood is.
yeah, absolutely, he is. And for me, I hope a kid like Wood comes back, knowing that we actually need receivers. We had, two guys that were starters, and when I say starters, I'm talking a 3-receiver set where we have 3 receivers that start. 2 of those guys graduated. And then the one first man off the bench, which was Cam Courtney, is in the portal as well. And I don't think he's been picked up yet. And then we had Eli Wood actually leave as well. So, we really have no idea who's who, what's what, when it comes to other receivers. I mean, we can go down the list. I can look at 247. You get an opportunity to go check out Wahoo's 247 with my girl, Jackie Franchuli. Check her out. She's right on top of it. She's the one who is one of the ones that are on the ground floor, getting the information and putting it out online for us to keep up with what's going on in this transfer portal. But let's go ahead and jump right into, what we see here. I got here. I'm gonna run down the line. AB, you pull up. You ever pull up the 247 website, and then you go to the transfer portal and go to UVA, and I can see here, and I'm gonna just start with the first kid that shows up, Justin Ross, who's a cornerback from from the Naval Academy, and to me, he's a long, athletic kid, 6'2", 185, out of Gastonia. 3 ranked star kid, and everyone knows we need cornerbacks. We absolutely need cornerbacks. You can never have enough. Obviously, we lost 2 to 3 of them before the season, and 2 to 3 of them didn't even play this year. Who could have possibly competed for a starting spot? So we didn't have him. We have a Zion Wilson, who is a defensive lineman who was at ECU, had 7 sacks from the interior. I'm looking forward to him coming from East Carolina. That's a Zion Wilson. Then, of course, the next gentleman on the list is Braden Hillman from down here in the 757, played at Churchland High School from Michigan. He's a stud. I mean, he was, I think, honorable mention, Big Ten, second team or honorable mention, Big Ten at safety. Has some really good stats, 6 feet, 200 pounds. But one of those guys, we're talking about, he's a safety. You talk about losing, a player like Prevard, who's kind of a safety hybrid kind of a player. Now, this guy isn't as big as Prevard, but you're talking about a Neal, who I think he's going to play in the position opposite, because Ethan Mentor is coming back. If anyone got wind of that or saw that online. So we have Ethan Mentor, who played most of the year at one safety spot. Then you had Devin Neal, who actually graduated, exhausted his eligibility. Then you're going to have a Braden Hillman, who is a Big Ten all-conference quality player, stepping in to where Devin Neal, who was also an ACC, I think he was a second team or third team as well. So we're going to hopefully not lose much there, and maybe even be a little bit of an upgrade. Connor Cox, a tight end from North Carolina. really known more as a run blocker. Looking forward to him coming in. He's a big kid, 6'6", 6'5", kid coming in, and I think he's going to do a pretty good job. But they need a blocker. You know, they're losing Sage Ennis. We do have a Cam Courtney coming back, which Cam Courtney is a little bit more of that receiving threat down the line, a little bit of more of an athletic kind of a tight end running down the seam. And of course, with Connor Cox, when they do run that double tight set, which is when they were really dominating a little bit earlier in the year when they had that set, you're going to have him probably doubling up, double tight end set on that 12 personnel going in. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. Alex Payne, a 4-star tackle from
That dude is massive.
from Southern California.
He's from Georgia, and he's
Well,
coming
he's from Georgia, but he went to USC.
Yeah.
6'6", 315. Everybody wanted this kid coming out. It was a 4-star coming out, and looking, for more good things from him. Of course, if you follow in UVA sports, UVA has 5 offensive linemen. That's 5 starters coming back. And then you add he's a little bit of a younger guy too. I think he's a junior. Him coming in, and or he'll be a junior coming in, I believe. He'll be able to play either the swing tackle, or if he's good enough, he may be able to push his way into the starting lineup. And that's what you always want to look for. You want to look for folks that are that want the competition. AB, is there anybody that you wanted to go ahead and highlight as well? I was just going down the list of players that I've seen here.
I mean, I think the 2 biggest is the 4-star Hillman and Holstein. I personally like the Missouri quarterback. Had no idea that we were even going to be going after a second one. So I think that's huge for us. My phone froze, so give me a second. Definitely looking forward to Alex Payne. But I think the biggest thing that I really liked is Rico Flores. Kind of really looking forward to him at wide receiver. Was just kind of looking at him a little bit. He, from what I read, he got injured, but tried to make a comeback this year and did pretty well. But it's always that first season after injury. It's always rough. If, that second season back is when you really start to flourish again. So I definitely like him with the quarterback options that we brought in. I think that they'll complement him well. And to be honest, I'm really excited to see, because we saw what Jamari did coming from a smaller school. I'm looking forward to seeing Middlebrook.
Yeah.
3-star coming from Middle Tennessee. Definitely think that he could be something. He's 196, 5'10", so pretty decently sized guy. Haven't had enough time to really look into how he plays, but definitely hoping that he can bring something to our running game, because that's what worked well for us this year. Being able to have an established run game and also have really good threats with the wide receiver. If Cam Courtney comes back, the wide receiver they brought in, and hopefully we get a couple more. I think those are the guys that I really want to watch. Like the Rico Flores and Middlebrook.
Okay, absolutely right. Appreciate that. Now, I am looking for. There's not many more spaces, I don't think, to fill, or when it comes to the transfer portal. And remember, this is the only time this portal is going to be open. They're not going to get a springtime transfer portal, so that's why these kids are taking their time. They're not just jumping in and then saying, "Oh, I'll be okay. If I don't like it, I can jump back out after the spring game and go find another team." Nope. This is it. So these kids are taking their time, and their agents and handlers and parents are probably telling them that, hey, make sure this is a place you want to go. Because if you make this decision and you don't like it, you're going to be stuck there for the year at least. So this is a part of the NCAA trying to wind down the wild, wild west. They're trying to slow it down a little bit so that number one, coaches and teams have a little bit more of a grasp of what their roster is going to be, and also put just a little bit more of regulation and to make it so that it's a little more fair for the teams and for the schools. Another player that I'm looking forward to is my guy Peyton Lewis. Peyton Lewis is a guy who I targeted before the portal even opened. I talked about this young man quietly with other coaches, other watchers of the of other rosters of players who weren't getting time and players from Hampton Roads. He's one of these kids or from the state of Virginia that I really wanted to come back. He went to Tennessee. He was a 4-star from Salem, Virginia. Is an absolute stud running the ball. Had 7 touchdowns as the 3rd running back for the University of Tennessee in the SEC. I think he's going to come here. He's a big kid. He's fast. He's like 6 feet, 6'1"-ish, 6 feet-ish, 215 pounds. He was like the 55-meter champion in high school his junior and senior year.
Didn't
Runs
they
like
didn't they compare him to Rondé and Tiki?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they did. He's just bigger than them.
Yeah, I mean he's tall, but they
Yes.
compare running style to Rondé and Tiki's.
Oh! I can see a Tiki. If you're talking that a little bit more of a straight up speed style for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that yeah. I mean, if they said something to that, then yes, it's more of a Tiki style. But yeah, this kid, and then he ran a 10.5 sub 10 500, which is absolutely blazing. You talk about getting into the 10.4s and 10.3s. You're talking about Olympic, junior Olympic quality of an athlete, and he's he has that speed, and I'm really looking forward to getting him on the roster because we love to run the ball and getting him a lot of carries in this system. This could be something really, really exciting. Having him here. AB said it. Bo Pribula, the quarterback from Missouri. Little fact about that kid got some wheels. I mean, he has a cannon, but and I think he needs to work a little bit more on his accuracy. But the kid can run, and remember, UVA, the way that they are now, we want quarterbacks with dual threat capability. And this kid definitely has a dual threat element to his game. And if you go back and watch some of his highlights, and any of these players that we're talking about now, I urge you to go check some of them out on their, on YouTube and see some of their highlights. What are some other players that you wanted to highlight, AB?
So I'm looking right now because I wanted to see what top we said we wanted some receivers. So I wanted to look and see who was some of the top ones. And there's a guy from Syracuse. He only had 2 touchdowns on the season, but he had like 600 yards off of just 45 catches. So putting up some decent numbers. He only had 8 receptions in 2023 and 2024. So it looks like he may only have like 1 year left, maybe 2. But he seems like he would be a pretty good one that we could go for, especially like since it's ACC, like he could stay in the ACC unless he's looking for something bigger. But there's also a pretty good guy that's from LSU, Kyle Parker, top ranked guy. But there's a freshman that's from Ohio State. He didn't play at all, but looks like from what I was looking at, he had some decent offers coming out of school. Last name is Miller. So there's a couple receivers. There's a guy from Texas, Aaron Butler. He did not really play, but I think he's a freshman. So there's a couple receivers out there that are still open, and they're top ranked receivers. So I think that there's some opportunities out there for us to grab some decent good guys. I mean, some of these guys have never even played, so it's not like we would have to offer them like a ton of NIL money, but they're still a top ranked receiver. So I'm curious to see if we go after any of these guys, but we'll see.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing. I think that they're going to have to definitely pull in a highly ranked, highly skilled, tenured receiver who has put the time in, who has, put in some time, like a Cam Ross,
How
somebody to
much?
come back. Go
How,
ahead,
how,
Amy.
how much money has UVA spent? One
We
point
don't
seven
know
right
that yet.
now.
Yeah, we don't know that yet. I think that we'll probably know something probably in about another
Month or so.
15 to 30 days once the portal closes in about another week or so here. And then once some of the
I thought there was something about that online.
It
the
shows how much it shows, like
value,
shows
but
value, I think, but I don't think it actually shows what we offered.
it doesn't show,
Oh,
it also doesn't show, yeah, it doesn't show that, but we won't know for
I think it
sure.
also estimates
Yeah,
as
those
well.
estimates,
Yeah.
we won't know for sure,
well,
but
what I looked at it, we were UVA and Tech were spending. We had about the same number. I think that number was the same. Let me find that thing.
yeah, because that's always, and that's very important as well when you're talking about, having the support from the alumni, from the donors, folks giving money to the NIL, and trying to figure out what's what. Um, so for me right now, I'm waiting for a big time receiver, a splash from a wide receiver. I need one, and I'm really excited and happy for the kind of kids they're bringing in. Remember, we were bringing in some kids from lower level. We had a kid, the defensive end from Tennessee Tech, excuse me. We had Jamari Taylor come in, even Cam Ross coming from JMU. You don't really know what you get until you get them, you know, in the building, and then got to see how the team coaches them up and see how they work into their system. Now, the next thing is a wide receiver. They have the two quarterbacks, Holstein and Pribula, in the fold. I think they're actually going to compete for a starting job, to be honest. A lot of people said it's a foregone conclusion that Pribula is a starter, or Pribula, however you say his name. But I think that Holstein is going to have an opportunity to battle with him for the starting position. Holstein was a starter, before he lost his job. I think he got injured, the rookie came in, the freshman came in and burned it up, and then they just never went back to him. Think about him as well. He has 2 years left of eligibility, so I know they want to at least get him out there and see what he can do. Also, at least four defensive ends were bought in. They are bolstering the trenches right now, and they want to, and it to me proves that they want to get after the quarterback. The names from the defensive ends, I've already talked about Zion Wilson, the guy who gets pressure up the middle from ECU, who had 7 sacks. But we're talking about Devin Baxter from Michigan. And I want to say he was a 4-star coming out of high school. Another kid didn't get a lot of play, didn't have a lot of time on the books. But if you go back, I watched his film. I watched some of his high school film. 6'6", 247, big athletic kid. He played tight end and some wide receiver in high school as well. I feel like the kid just needs some time to flourish. Think about, Maddox Marcellus and our other guy from Ohio State who came in. Guys who came from larger programs, they just needed the time to play as well. Another defensive end, we're talking about Matthew Fobbs White at BYU. Another, I think, underrated player who totally bringing fire off the edge at 6'3", 235. I think that I think he led BYU in sacks, teams, the team in sacks as well, and he may have been a Big 12 honorable mention kind of a player as well. But totally from Louisiana, one of these kids down in the deep South, talented, coming from a school like Baylor. Looking forward to seeing him in Cavalier orange and blue. Also, we have Jamon Mathis from Kent State. We had good luck with players coming from Kent State, or a player coming from Kent State, meaning we had Terrell Harris, another defensive end, strongly built, 6'3", 245, another kid. Seems like he's a guy who can come off the edge, but rushes with some power as well. Jamon Mathis, another player for the trenches. I'm not done there. Also, Nana Anunyanwu, Anunyanwu. So yeah, from University of Texas, Texas El Paso. He's coming in. He's another young man. Seems very athletic, 6'5", 240. Think about that. We got Fisher K-Mac coming back. And some other guys that I know we had leave, but for the draft. But I'm looking for this kid's from Georgia, came from Lovejoy, and I think he has a year or two left of eligibility. But another long, athletic, kind of a lanky kind of a kid who I'm looking for big things for. Oh, looks like we got Chad Wood in the house. What's going on, Wood?
How you doing, Law?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. Then, of course, Ezekiel Larry, a young man from Yale who led the Ivy League in sacks. Another man for the trenches on the end. Now, some of these guys may bump in when they run what is called their NASCAR package, where you run some of the smaller guys in the middle on passing downs. I'm looking forward to seeing Ezekiel Larry from Yale come to the Wahoos and wreak havoc. So you think about those four defensive ends that are coming to the Wahoos right now. There is an emphasis on getting pressure on the quarterback right now. What you got to say, Wood? I'm going to put you in here, man. How you been, brother?
Good, man. Can't turn the camera on right now. I'm driving, but yeah,
Got
you're exactly right. I think pass rush is a main focus in the off season. Secondary too. We got 3 or 4 safeties if I'm not wrong, but yeah, I mean, we've gone to some smaller schools, and generally I've been kind of down on that, but it seemed to work out last year. So I guess you'll say trust the process, but we also got some big name guys from Michigan. You know, Ohio State and Alabama's came in and come and gone, but I think they really put an emphasis on pass rush. They definitely beefed up the back end of our secondary, which I thought was much needed. Offense, I don't. Other than wide receiver, I don't think much was needed. Other than quarterback, obviously we found out Chandler was coming back. He wasn't coming back till late, but I guess that's a whole discussion in itself with the Pittsburgh guy committing after we already got the guy from Missouri. I don't know what's going on with that because I think they could both start. But
Yep.
I think we got 4 or 5 running backs in the portal. Our offensive line pretty much returned. We got some good depth there. So our biggest need was defensive line and secondary, in my opinion. I think we've fulfilled that. I think, they're smaller schools, but then again, I've doubted that in the past, but it's bitten me last year. So I think so far, I mean, I don't really know all the guys, obviously, because you'd have to do your homework in depth. So they obviously know more than I do. But I think we've got a good portal so far. But we'll see how it goes. I doubted the small school guys before, and it's bit me. So I'm all in at this point.
Well, I think they have not gonna say mastered, but I think they have really learned to look for the right kid that fits their system, regardless of what school they're coming from. I think that they zero in on talent and what the skill set is of a player, and they figure out he can do that for us. They watch the film. Maybe they even have scouts at some games, during the year, for kids that they think that they can target. And they figure that they get to the film and they see what they see, and they're like, I think this young man can do what we need him to do. And I really think that they did a hell of a job bringing that in, like you said, Wood, last year, regardless of what level of play they were at. I'm going to trust that process. One thing that this squad, from a coaching squad or coaching staff, has done, and I have to give them credit, is they've gone to the portal and they've done well out of the portal. Even in the bad years, even in the tough years, they've had players that have come in and have been productive out of the portal. Naturally, they have struggled from getting kids out of high school, getting the youngsters to commit, but they have done a hell of a job getting Virginia kids, state kids that have gone to bigger schools or other schools and gotten them to come back. That's a big deal. That is, turning out to be a huge asset and a huge advantage, I think, that they have over some schools that they're in competition with. They're getting kids to come back. Let me think about this. If where the team is right now, and I'm asking you, AB, how do you feel right now about the team that you're seeing put together based off of the kids that have come in? And I'm asking you, Wood, as well, and I'll ask you, Amy, next too. And then the kids that are already there.
It's a little late. I'm getting a little tired. I mean, more or less, I was happy about the one, certain ones coming back, which was Jamal Edrin and Twitty. So we know that they're great, and I think that at who we added will complement them well. Just like I had said a little bit earlier, we got the tight end that's more of like a blocking tight end from
UNC.
UNC. And then, like I said, Rico. And then I'm actually sitting here as you guys are talking, I'm listening, doing some research to figure out who is like on the top of our radar. And the name Nico Brown has shown up a couple of times. Nico Brown is from Yale. In 2025, he had 71 receptions for over 1,000 yards with 11 touchdowns. So that would be the season guy that you're kind of referring to, but he is a senior, so it looks like it would be his last year of eligibility potentially. But it does look like he's got, some potential coming to UVA. So that would be really great if we had somebody of his caliber that has had some experience. And the other one was who I had told you, the guy from Syracuse. It looks like those two names are who's coming up. But we know that as much as I love Edrin, he can't be the only one to carry. He can carry a lot, but he can't carry the whole wide receiver load. So we definitely need to have some threats back there with those two quarterbacks. Depending on who gets the job, I definitely think it's going to be a downright competition pretty much through all spring practice and through summer to figure out who is going to be our guy. But I'm looking forward to seeing what we do. I mean, we're really bought in at this point with the whole transfer portal, with the NIL. The school is our financial support system of our donors and everything else is bought in. And I think we're doing the necessary moves that we need to make to continue to be competitive in this world of NIL and transfer portal.
I agree with that. I think that, as we...
Hey, I'm just going to see y'all because my basketball game is on. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Who do y'all play? Oh, she's gone. Okay. Wood, based off of the squad who was there, or the squad that's there now, that decided to stay and come back, and the players that are coming. Give me your idea. Tell me how you feel about the squad as they're building it right now.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is the offensive line came back. Monroe Mills. Um, I won't name them by name, but you got most of your linemen, if not all of them, came back. So that's first and foremost the most important thing, in my opinion. Your defensive line came back for the most part. You had a couple of transfers out. Like Amy said, excuse me, I called you Amy, by the way. AB. I think wide receivers are our biggest question mark right now.
Mm-hmm.
Edrin came back. I think Eli Woods is gone, right? Because he wasn't on
Eli Wood is
scholarship.
in the portal. He's still in the portal.
But he wasn't on scholarship to begin with, right?
Right. Sudarian is not there. Andre, the
He
North
left.
Carolina
Green.
There you go. He's left. Yeah. So we've lost a lot of guys here.
So I'd probably, like she said, that's our biggest need right now. I'd probably try to get Eli Wood on scholarship if he would come back. But like I said, it's hard for me to doubt what they've been doing in the portal with these small schools, because they've hit home runs. So as negative as I've known to be, I mean, they've done great with small schools. So I really can't hate anything. They've replaced a lot, with in the secondary, defensive line. We have guys leave, but they've replaced guys. At running backs, how many do we have? 5 come in, 2 quarterbacks,
4
quarterback.
There are 4 running backs come in with the 2 we already had.
Right.
I like
Plenty
it though
running back.
because we need it. We run the ball a lot. We need it.
Yeah, no doubt. And then we even got a backup offensive lineman come back yesterday from USC, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He'll
So
compete.
not only we're not getting not only starters but reinforcements. So I think wide receiver, I still think we need, like she said, we need a guy. We need number 1 guy.
Right. Still.
And probably 2, probably a 1A and a 1B to go with Edrin. Other than that, I mean, we hit the portal pretty hard, and I have no reason to doubt them because last year they did great. So if we get 2 more receivers, I think we'll be pretty much set. And like you said, we got 2 quarterbacks that, I mean, I think the guy from Missouri, I don't know the NIL numbers, but I think he'll start. No reason why he wouldn't. But the guy from Pittsburgh, I've seen him play several times. He's pretty good too. So, I mean, we got 2 starting quarterbacks, right after.
Yeah.
What was that, a week we found out Chandler wouldn't be back? We got 2 starting quarterbacks. So that all praise to those guys, whoever's running that show. But yeah, get 2 more receivers, and I think we'll rinse and repeat, I think.
Well, I think that they're waiting. They are definitely waiting for a wide receiver. Now, keep in mind, some of their bigger names didn't come in until after the championship game. Remember that, Wood? Remember that, AB? Some of their bigger names came in from their bigger schools. Now, the schools that just played for these last couple weeks, those young men had to wait to put their name in the portal, right? So the team that just lost last weekend, or the team that lost 2 weekends ago, those kids are putting their name in the portal, and they're putting their feelers out. These kids didn't have an opportunity to go through their process. So right now, you got a lot of high-end kids from these championship programs, from these big bowl programs, waiting to make a decision. And they're just starting their process now, where you had guys who put their name in really early before they even started playing bowl games. Now you also have the championship game where you have Miami and Indiana. You got kids on that team who want to have an opportunity to hit the portal as well. So let's not. I know it stinks, even though it took us a while to get our quarterbacks in line. But since we got our quarterbacks in line, remember, I don't care what anyone says, receivers are still divas. They're not going to go anywhere where they don't feel the quarterback can get them the ball. Right, Wood? Can you hear me? You know,
Oh
but
no,
no,
no, yeah, that's fair.
yeah, no wide receiver is going to go to a school and without a quarterback either in place or there is an idea that a quarterback is going to land, in a system and be ready to go. I just don't see it. So to me, I feel like now that we've got our quarterbacks for over the last 48, 72 hours, we just got our quarterbacks in place. We saw one soon as a quarterback committed, we got the kid the kid from UCLA committed right after we got our quarterback committed. And I think some of these other higher end receivers, we're waiting for them to make their decision because they just put their names in the portal from the last game, from the last championship game. So let's go ahead and get into the basketball team now. Now that we've kind of got some good portal talk. So how about this, man? With the basketball team, what are they? 13-2 and 3-1, 4-1 in the ACC. I like what I'm seeing here. Chris says, big ups to the 7 starters from JMU that went with the coach. Yeah, from the coach at JMU up to Indiana. Torn root for love Indiana. Having Virginia players, but also like to see them at the ACC level too. Well, win it all too. I don't know. I get it. Being a player myself, and you want to go play with the system and play with a coach you feel is going to give you, or not even give you, but you have the opportunity to play for a system you're comfortable with, and also playing at a higher level. They're really playing on a level of championship quality, and they could take home a national championship the way that he has that team in line right now. But the basketball team looks phenomenal to me. You get a chance to check the basketball team out, AB?
I watched the second half of the game last night. Was pretty impressed on what I saw. I mean, we talked about it earlier. I mean, I knew that UVA was going to win because we've seen McNeely before, and McNeely obviously is their shooter for the most part. So I knew we would be able to control him a little bit, and we would know how to play him because we know how he plays. So just being able to see us in that, I thought we looked amazing. So I'm excited. We're, like you and I again had said earlier, it's not Tony Bennett basketball anymore. Like, this basketball is like so fun to watch. So maybe I can get into it a little bit more. I feel like I mean, obviously I love Tony Bennett, but it was slow, So now I'm so excited to see more of like a little bit more fast paced basketball. So I'll watch more basketball now that football is kind of coming to an end. So.
Yeah, well, I kind of had my eye on the basketball team for a minute here. Went down to Charlotte, watched them play Dayton, which was a good game as well. That was the game we saw Jakari hit 7 3-pointers in a row. One thing about this team, what I can say about this team is you don't know who's going to do what. That's the thing about this team. You could have one player who scored off the bench score 20 points. You could have another player off the bench score 15 points. You don't know who's going to give you what, but you know that somebody can compete. You have so many ways to score, so many weapons that I feel like, this coach has done a good job of also assembling a team that he can coach, that's giving him, the talent, that he needs. And he's doing a good job, I think, of rotating them and getting them, into the scoring positions they need to be in. My man Chris is saying, I was reluctant with Odom taking over. How much he loved Tony Bennett, but he's digging it. The fast pace, like AB said, is a lot of love there, and close to 3 years. Yeah, they're averaging like 80 plus points a game. That's one thing about it when you're playing basketball, in my opinion, and like I say, we really like Tony Bennett as far as the fan base and followers and everything. But one thing about it is you have to be successful the way that he played in almost every aspect of every style that you play with that system. And if you have a failure anywhere, let's say you do everything right, you play the defense right, you're not turning the ball over, but if your shooting is off, you could still lose that game, even though 75% of the game you've done what you're supposed to. If that 25% is off, you could still lose the game because no one was hitting the shot. You're going to get nights like that. And I think with this system, and you shouldn't lose a game when you do 75 or you do more of the things right than another team. One team could get hot and just be hitting threes a whole bunch, and sometimes there's nothing you can do with that. But we didn't shoot the ball well enough in a lot of games, and we lost the game, even though we played well enough in every other aspect to win. This team has the opportunity in ways to beat you in multiple ways, not just playing the Tony Bennett way. They can play you wide open. They can play half court with you because they can shoot. They can press you with the defense. They can play you 94 feet. They can trap you. We haven't even really seen the heavy trap game from them where they're trapping you and giving you, like Nolan Richardson, 90 some odd minutes of hell. Oh, no. Was it 60 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever it is of hell. They blitz you a lot, and they do a lot of trapping, full court on you. But this team, there's a lot of different ways. Or they can run and gun, and they can open you up 5 out and shoot threes the whole game, and then on top of it, they can play defense. They have two centers back there that are second and third in the ACC in shot and block shots. You're talking about, what do they average? Six shots, block shots a game. I like what I see from this squad. But anything else you'd like to speak about?
No, I think I kind of said all that I wanted to say. I mean, I just am looking forward to seeing who else we pick up with the spots that we have left. Like I said, I'm still fingers crossed that Cam Courtney is going to return, just because I think that he could be a standout receiver with Edrin. But the biggest thing too, just as I'm listening to us talk, while we thought the Missouri guy is the guy, I just said a minute ago, it's going to be important to see who works with who. So the Missouri guy we might have thought was our guy, but maybe the Pittsburgh guy works better with the scheme and the guys that we picked up. So I think it's going to really come down to seeing how it all comes together. And, same thing with basketball. We didn't know until we know. And so let's see what the rest of the season with basketball comes about, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely right. Well, I can tell you, I'm looking forward to the rest of this transfer portal news, see which player is going to commit. And also, I'm looking forward to the rest of this basketball season and seeing what else we have to offer. The next home game is against UNC, and that's in 2 weeks. Looking forward to that, not this weekend, but the next weekend or in a week. And looking forward to getting that going as well. So with that being said, this is going to be great. We're already off to probably the best sports year for University of Virginia sports. And we'll keep you guys up to date on all of that. But I want to thank you for hanging out with us, chilling with us, and visiting the show. But as of now, gotta go, but this shop is closed. Thank you guys. Have a good evening. We will see you next week. Oh, and I will be on the NFL Draft Bible this weekend with the NFL Scouts. And I will have an interview or two with some of the players that are entering, that will be eligible for the NFL Draft, that are at some of these bowl games coming up. So stay tuned. I will post and send out. But thank you guys, and I will see you in a little bit.